Ukraine's government says at least 14 people have been killed after pro-Russian separatists shot down a military helicopter over the eastern city of Slovyansk. Now, this comes as a convoy of pro-Russia separatists have been seen heading towards Donetsk airport, which is also in the east. The airport was the scene of heavy fighting earlier in the week. The government claims it has taken control of the site, but the separatists have taken the road leading to it. Well, let's get more on this from our correspondent David Chater. David, first, can you give us more about, fill us in more about the helicopter that was shot down?
Yes, it was a troop carrier, essentially. It wasn't a helicopter gunship like we've seen around the skies of Donetsk and at the airport fights earlier this week. Apparently there were 14 soldiers on board. They'd just put a new shift into an army base, and including amongst those killed was a senior army general. The Ukrainian government have confirmed that death toll. 14 people killed when the helicopter came down. Apparently the pro-Russian separatist fighters were using a surface-to-air missile, and the fighting around Slovyansk has been picking up pace during the course of the day. They've not only been using mortars against the separatist fighters' positions in the city, they've also been using Grad rockets, multi-barreled rocket attacks against those positions. So a very dangerous situation there in Slovyansk at the moment.
And David, what is the situation in Donetsk itself?
Well, let me tell you, first of all, I'm standing at the regional administration headquarters in the center of Donetsk. And now many of those fighters that we saw in the convoy that was heading towards the airport have peeled off here, and they've set up very strong positions around the administration building. Of course, it'll be this sort of building behind me that will be the target of the Ukrainian government army if they do come in here and try and clear all of these buildings. Now, many of the people here, the soldiers here, are actually volunteers from Chechnya, and they are beginning to take control of the situation here, and they've deployed across all of the streets leading into this area. They are pretty expert at urban warfare, and they are taking control of the situation here. They've got rocket-propelled grenades, they've got heavy weapons, they've got anti-aircraft guns, and so they're ready for anything that the Ukrainian army might try tonight or over the next few hours, of course, of the next day. Special forces will be used to take over this building if they do decide to launch an attack here. But I can say there have been reinforcements coming in to the city of Donetsk, because I was about 45 kilometers outside the city early this morning when we got a tip-off about Russian army trucks, 8 of them, coming up the road towards us. We managed to film them as they came, but some of the 6 cars with full of armed men that were protecting the convoy saw us. They, in very expert fashion, cut us off. 3 cars surrounded us. All the armed men came out. They stuck their Kalashnikovs straight in our faces, and they took our camera, and they refused to let us have our pictures. But it did calm down as soon as we showed the accreditation we have from the separatist fighters here in Donetsk. But clearly that convoy was heavily loaded with weapons and ammunition. So they're ready for a fight here, and they've been resupplied with that ammunition and those weapons.
Thank you very much. David Chater in Ukraine with the latest for us.